Hey, what's up? It's Matt, and we are back with another episode of MPTV, where we talk to restaurant owners and operators about a key element in the restaurant business, making profit, and more importantly, what they're doing inside their business to do that. And I'm here today with Kyle, who's involved with 3 restaurants, as you can see, Head Burritos and also Rapid Fire Pizza. Kyle, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. So the reason I wanted to talk to you, you and I have some similarities from the standpoint that I grew up in the business world with my father. You're working with your father. So I guess for people out there that are in the restaurant world that are working with their family, there's a learning curve, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yep, it's a little bit different than your typical go to work for a boss that's a 9 to 5 or someone that you don't have another connection or relationship with.
Yep.
So it's, but I think your family pushes you a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, when we got in the boat business back in 1999, me, my dad, and my brother, and it was about 2003, I left my career in radio to do that full time. And it was a learning curve because I found that my dad, even though he loved me and he knew I was a hard worker, I hadn't earned his respect with my expertise yet. So I had to put in my time in the lot, pulling boats around, washing boats, doing all of it. How did you get started in the restaurant business? Obviously with your dad, I'm assuming, but what was your first part of the restaurant business?
Well, I think our family's been in business for close to 30 years. Started out with a gas station and selling used cars as well. So my grandfather and my father were in that, and then I just kind of grew up in the business. And then as I got older and graduated, high school, and I just ended up back in I wanted to be part of the family business. That's what I wanted. I kind of grew up in it, and I didn't want to leave it. So, and then that's how we branched out and started opening some restaurants and trying some different concepts, and here I am now.
So you've worked in restaurants day to day. Now you're the operations manager for the 3 stores. Is that What do you take from those days of working in the restaurant that now you can train the teams? Because obviously you're doing something right. If you can see this on some B-roll maybe later, the restaurant we're in is spotless. It looks like it's a month old and it's 3 years old. So what did you take from your days of working in the daily grind to help train these teams?
Well, I think, like my father spoke, you got to get back to the basics, but I also think it's just being in your stores, and setting a precedence that, like if I come in my store right now and they're backed up and they need some help, they know that I'm going to jump in and help them. And you really just have to set that bar and say, hey, here's where we're at. You can't go below that. And I think that, I've done everything in all of our different franchises. I started out, just being a worker, and then being working different shifts, and then I just kind of worked my way up to manager and area manager and so on and so forth. And I think it's a combination of everything. You got to know what to talk about in your business. If I don't know how to do something, how can I tell my employee to do it?
Yep. Yeah, and I learned that. That was one thing that my dad instilled in me when we had the boat dealership. I would be out there spraying the parking lot some days. I'd be moving boats with the forklift. I'd be helping put a Yamaha outboard on a boat. And that was one thing I always tried to show our employees. I was willing to do what they had to do. And at the same time, you kind of learn it. I had one time for a month, I went and was the parts manager. And I have no clue about boat parts. But I wanted to understand what was happening so that I could help lead better.
Right.
What are some of the things that you pride yourself on that you look at, that you help your team grow, that you are able to run 3 restaurants and not be in every one every day?
Well, I think a lot of it is like I said, just being in your store and spending quality time there. Okay. I may not be at every one of my stores every single day, but when I'm there, I try to spend quality time with my employees and my managers. I want them to know that I know what I'm doing, and then I want to know what they know. I think that if I just let a manager run blindly, they're not going to be able to operate as efficiently or as effectively. So if I'm not there teaching or coaching or trying to help them out in some way, then it makes my job a lot more difficult. Yeah. We almost look at ourselves as firefighters sometimes. It's like, where am I putting the fire out today? I want to be ahead of that. I want to be preventative to where I'm not just running around like crazy.
Yeah, I tell business people that I train that work with restaurants, salespeople, marketers, I tell them, hey, the business is tough because it's firefighters. Every day you walk in, there's something that happened that wasn't supposed to.
Right.
Like when we had our boat dealership, the one I remember the most was when a guy named Eric backed an Airstream camper through our 16-foot glass window. Right through it, shattered everywhere, and I'm like, well, there went my week. Because I spent the whole week with that freaking window and window frame and insurance and the camper. And so expect the unexpected. Okay, break time. Restaurateurs, it's Matt. And if you're watching MPTV,
You're obviously interested in improving your business. What if I told you could finally take the hope and pray out of your marketing plan and spend money and see results? You see, most marketing starts with the same exact tactic. You gain the attention of somebody, but that's where the majority of it stops. What we do with the ROI engine is help you gain amazing attention, which drives gigantic engagement. That engagement leads to customers to tell us who they are, meaning they opt into your email, text, and birthday program, and then we drive them to buy something. We've got a lot of great programs that can help you, and we'd love to have a conversation with you. If you're interested, it's easy. Check out roiexperts.net. You can schedule an appointment, and we'll hop on a call with you. Worst case scenario, you learn how to market your restaurant like you've never heard of before. Back to the action.
You mentioned employees and the restaurant business. That's a hot topic. When I walked in, I saw resumes or applications you and your dad were looking at. What are you doing to find employees? And I guess a follow-up question, what are you doing to retain them? Because that's a tough market.
It is. It's very tough, and I don't have any secrets. If somebody else does, feel free to share them with me.
Give them to us.
I'll take any of the input I can. A big thing for us is we look at applications every day. Whether it's paper applications, email applications, whatever. We spend money on marketing to do that. Yeah. We want to put out there, hey, we're doing interviews. We have a reader board, at this location that, open interviews.
Yeah, I think there's a sign on the window too that said it.
Yep. So you got to be proactive about it, because I don't know that you can make people stay, because everybody quits or gets a job or whatever for their own reasons. Yeah. We lose people on a daily basis. And I talk to other owners and other brands that they're the same way. But I think you have to do your due diligence to try to get more applications in the door.
To always have that funnel full.
Yep. And get ahead.
And get ahead.
Yeah, that way you have something. If Billy doesn't show up tomorrow, bam, here's the next application that I can go to and hire this and bring him in the next day.
What about retention? Anything that you found success with, or maybe something you guys do in your secret sauce that's helped you keep people longer?
Don't be a jerk. I think a lot of it's just being nice to your employees, nice to your managers, and being in your stores, and I've been around the business long enough. There's a lot of people that don't like me, and that's fine, but there's a lot of people that love me. That's great. And you're not going to make everybody happy. But one, be respectful to everybody, and be nice to them. And we're a family business. We want our employees to feel like part of a family as well. I want to know my employees' names. I don't want to just come in and be like, oh, who's this over here today? I want to know my employees. I want to know somewhat about them. That way I can have a relationship with them. I think sometimes it's people get the, oh, here's Kyle, here's the boss. We're intimidated. I'm just like you.
Just like you.
I'm just another guy. I may have a higher position than what you do, but I'm still here to do the same job.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just being nice and respectful and
being relatable.
Yeah. You're not up on a pedestal to where nobody can reach me or whatever. Yeah. I'm in the trenches just like my staff is.
Yeah, and at the same time, when you're in the trenches, that earns their respect more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one thing I struggled with when we had our boat dealership in my early age, because it was in my early 20s, was I was trying to be everybody's friend all the time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can get abused.
Yeah, there's a fine line there. Like I said, being respectful and being nice, but at the same time, as a franchisee, we have a standard to uphold. And if you're not meeting that standard, or if it's a food safety issue or something, there's a problem.
Yeah.
I may not be the nicest guy about it, especially if you've been told something 10 times, but it's just business.
Talk about the franchise aspect of it. What have you seen that has helped you guys have a better product under the franchise model versus independent? What are some things that stick out to you?
The biggest thing for me is structure. I have to have structure. My employees kind of make fun of me sometimes because I have a notebook. I've got notes. I'm like, here, my Google Calendar. Here's this, and this. Franchise the same way. It's great. I think that having your daily checklist or your weekly or monthly checklist is really the way to go. That way, if I come in to one of my stores at 7 o'clock in the evening and something's not going on or not going right, I can go, hey, where do we miss here? What happened? Where did the wheels come off the bus at? And we can go back, all right, well, here at 5 o'clock, we should have done this.
Yep.
And here it is 7, and it's not done. I think with our franchises in particular, we've got a great corporate staff. The guys with Rapid Fired Pizza and Hot Head Burritos, I can reach them on a personal basis. They're not far away somewhere that you don't have like a direct line with them. So I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing to me that surprises me a lot is the number of franchises I see that more than likely have those systems, but it's not like they use them. Like, it cracks me up when I'm at a table at 11 o'clock for lunch and my ketchup is empty. I'm like, what happened between last night at shift close at 9, 10 o'clock to this morning at 11 a.m.? So how do you, as far as an employee standpoint, what do you find is the biggest way to make sure all those are implemented? Is it just training and hammering home that we follow this?
It is, I think it's training from the very beginning. What I'm on all my managers about, or my training managers, is hey, listen, it's easier to train someone the correct way than it is to try to go and break bad habits.
Yeah.
If I train somebody and it's not the correct way and they're just kind of doing whatever, well then, oh, okay, now we're going to change this. Well, they've got their routine in their head. Now we have to change that, and that's difficult for people. So sometimes they don't like change.
Yeah.
So I think if you just if you train them correctly to begin with, but then also being in your stores and enforcing it. So when I come in and I see something's not right, I'm going to my manager or whoever's on duty that day and be, hey, what happened here? Oh, well, no, there's not an excuse. We got to get this done.
Yeah.
So, and I think that a lot of it is just not, one of our big philosophies for this year is no excuses.
Yeah.
Even personally, there's times that my boss maybe gets on me that I dropped the ball or forgot something. I'm like, well, I think to myself, well, I can't make an excuse because there isn't one. I've got just as many hours in the day as you do or as anybody else does. I got to get it done.
Restaurant owners, did you know Matt has free online marketing courses that teach you how to successfully market your restaurant? Email support@mattplapp.com to get access to the courses and a free social media content calendar.
Parting words, you're talking to somebody that's in the restaurant business that's looking for a piece of advice that can make their day easier, their bank with more money in it, or their restaurant just a better overall place. What would that one piece be?
I think from my aspect of the operations guys, just get in your store, be involved. You can't be an absentee owner or absentee manager or supervisor or whatever. They expect things to go right. So I think that's the big part of it, is just being involved. As my father said, I'm on the floor, I'm on the ground, but he's still in our stores as well.
Yeah.
So just having an appearance and getting involved. I want to come in and help my managers out, and I want to make sure that the things run right, because at the end of the day, it's our investment.
Cool. Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
There it is. Another episode of the books, MPTV. Here talking to Kyle about getting in your store. So that's my big takeaway, that you can obviously tell somebody's in this store. There's pride, there's care, there's a lot of respect given to this facility. So do the same. Your customers will appreciate it. They'll notice it. We'll see you next time.